Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry. People who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro.
And welcome to the RTO Show with Danny and Pete. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm your host, Pete, and today we're going to be talking about goals and how to achieve them. And right now, my goal is to find out how was your vacation, man? How was that time away from everything, including me?
Much needed on both
you said
counts.
That real quick, dude. But yeah, I need to get the hell out of here.
We're talking about like the Family Effect show that we did last season, but it definitely puts things in perspective. It was relaxing. It was much needed family time. Definitely feel energized. I feel low stress. I feel motivated, inspired. Come back, kick some ass, at work, this podcast, get with you. Let's make this thing bigger and better. How was your holidays, man?
Yeah, I worked the whole time.
Both divisions.
Just so you guys know how it works, because Danny and I are in the same company. I cannot take a vacation at the same time as Danny, and then Larry goes on vacation at the same time. I have no way to get away from it right now. So my vacation is coming up. I did have a chance to get a lot of things done, just to kind of breathe a little bit, because having the podcast it takes time and it takes focus, and it was nice to be able to get away a little bit and kind of just focus on the family a little bit and do some family events. We had like 3 Christmas parties that we were a part of, so that was great. And then, of course, spending time with the baby and just kind of remembering all that. But no, my vacation is coming up soon, so I can't wait for that. And then, of course, Vegas, baby. Vegas. And then, of course, after that, if you guys don't know, Meetings of the Minds in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to be there, or B Square, because we're going to be a part of, we're going to see what's going on over there. Hopefully, maybe have more to do. Man,
that's 2 shows we're already attending in 23. I want to say we're hitting some of our goals that we set in motion.
See, you saw that coming. We are hitting goals, guys. This is 2023, and we had some goals last year. And part of goals, you have to really take a look at what you want. When you set goals, the idea is to understand exactly where you're going. And you have to put down some good thought process on what it is. What exactly do you want? Not just the end result, but how to get there. So you have to understand what you want to get out of your goals and the goals themselves.
And then once you understand what it is that you want, what your goal is, you have to decide right then and there. Is that your goal? You have to choose. It's a conscious decision. This is what I want. This is what I want to go after. You have to decide what your goal is going to be.
I was thinking, because sometimes people set their goals as something and they don't realize that maybe the goal is something else. And I know it sounds crazy, but if I wanted to buy a house and I wanted to buy a car, I could say, hey, this is my goals, right? So if I'm in a store and I could say I want to grow customers or I want to increase my rental revenues, that itself is the end result. But what is going to get you there? Is it learning something new? Is it training yourself? Is it taking courses? Is it understanding your management style better? Is it understanding your sweet spot? Is it going to your guys and kind of being more open about it and training a little bit better? So the end result of the goal is, yes, the big prize. But then the goal should be steps. There should be steps, right? You should know what it is that's going to get you to the end result. And that's how you understand, first and foremost, when you're making a goal, what it is you want to attack to get to where you got to go.
No, for sure. But right before you do that, right before you break down your steps, which is a very important part of setting your goals, but I think there's 2 things you want to do before you break it down. One is write your goal down. quickly write it down. Pete, you and I, we do this all the time. Anytime we have a brainstorm session, specifically in the training room, what do? We get up, we go to the whiteboard, and we start writing things down, whether it's store numbers, whether it's managers' names, whether it's goals, whether it's rental revs. And then you also want to increase your goal by a smidgen, just a little bit. Put it a little bit further out to reach. So if you want to increase your customers, let's say 50 customers, shoot for 75. You want to increase your rental revs for the year by 10,000, go for 15. You always want to go a little bit higher. Shoot for the stars and you'll land on the moon. Write your goals down. Put it somewhere on display so where you can see it almost on a daily basis. But I think you're right. But then that's where now, once you write the goal down and then you break down from long-term to short-term, what's your year-long goal? What's your quarter goals? What's your month goals? And what's your every week goal? Because by hitting those margins, when you look back at the year, you're going to say, okay, we made it. And we made it by week after week after week hitting our mark.
I call those the stair step goals, right? You're walking up a set of stairs. You're not to the top. You're not at the bottom. But each step you take is in the right direction, right? You take it and as you take these steps, as you look at it, what are you doing? Are you marketing better? Okay, that's one step. Are you having better customer retention? That's one step. Are you making sure that you focus on your payout customers as well as your returns? Or are you trying to prevent payouts? That's a step. Are you engaging with your employees to make sure that they understand what it really means to hold on to those customers and not just get a new customer, because you can have Miss Jones who leaves and Mr. Jones who comes in and it's a wash. So how do you grow those customer steps and how to get the people that you have with you involved in that so that they understand that there's a process? That's a step. And then you start adding all these together, those little wins, those little, I made this part of my goal. Now it's time to move to the next. I trained them on this. Now it's time to move to the next. And those little steps will put you to the second floor. And the second floor could be a third of the way, could be a quarter of the way. Now what else do I have to do? Well, let's go back to marketing. Am I marketing with the right materials? Do I have the right EDDMs? Am I flyering the right places? Am I calling the right people? Or maybe it's just, I'm not even calling the right way. I'm doing all this work and I'm just treading water. I don't even know what I'm doing. Maybe a goal is to have better sales training, not just training as in why do we want to keep the customers that we have, but sales focused retention training and saying, are you even saying the right thing? Are you just calling up and saying, hey, I want you back. Oh, you don't want to come back? Oh, that's terrible. Well, just give me a call when you want to. Well, that's not sales, right? So then you take these small baby steps to get to where you want to be. And eventually you'll be on the third floor. And then the third floor could be you. The last floor could be you. Are you training the right way? Are you doing the right thing? Have you looked at your numbers? Do you even know what numbers we're talking about? Have you looked at your trends and said, my 3-month trend is this, or my 13-week trend is this? Or am I going into the summertime and my expectations are crazy unbelievable? Or is this the time that I set down roots so that they can sprout for fall and winter? It's a lot of different things to take into account, but those stair-step goals are super important. So you want to set goals in a way that will get you to where you want to be. All your baby goals, your baby steps should lead you from one small goal to another small goal to the end result, and they should all go in the same direction. Something built onto something else.
You touched on something and really, I can't believe I didn't write this down to begin with before we started recording. Managers, we need to work on ourselves. We need to better ourselves. Training is also an internal thing too. As individuals, as human beings, as mothers, fathers, husband, wives, friends, employees. I want to say another good thing we can do is probably read some books, read some successful biographies, read some how-to books, how to win friends and influence people. I'm in the middle of a book right now called The Power. It's the second book from The Secret. I'm a big believer of this. I'm going to get a little spiritual for just a second. But it goes down to the goals because it's the law of attraction. You're manifesting it and you have to subconsciously believe that you're going to hit this goal. And you have to already act like you're receiving it. Like you can't say, all right, in 12 months, I'm going to be here. No, you're already there now. You have to act like it. You have to believe it. You have to walk in this path that you are already there at that goal. So you're manifesting it and it will attract into your life. It's a great book. You have to read it. Pete, I keep telling you, read The Secret, read The Power. I'm really recommending it. And it also helps you as an individual so that way it can inspire you to be a better leader, be a better manager for your employees. So you can't expect to continuously always train your employees to be better if you're not training yourself to be better. And I think that's important. So to read on some leadership books, Larry always says that all the time. He's always saying, read some books. I've been trying to do better at that, especially when I went on vacation, I started reading some books. And I think that's going to help you reach your goal in the end is if you're bettering yourself, if you're looking at all this other stuff, all right, are we marketing better? Are we closing sales better? Also, what am I doing better for my team? I think that's an important factor. I think that was a good topic, good subject point right there that I didn't write down. I actually wrote it down now as you were talking about it.
Well, I always feel like goals are like, and I try to use a lot of metaphors because sometimes I can swallow it easier that way. And a store to me I always had this from some of my DMs that taught me in my regionals, and you kind of like in a car, and you're the guy driving. You're the guy driving, and there's everybody with you. There could be a navigator, could be the sleepyhead in the back. But if you're not a good driver, you're not going to get to where you want to be. And you want to get there faster, you just got to be a better driver. And to be a better driver, you got to be a better leader. And to be a better leader, you've got to read. You've got to self-invest. One of the things about goals that are going to take you anywhere, especially in the rent-to-own industry, is you have to understand you have to be better than the guy you were yesterday. There's no way that you're going to get to the future if you're not better than the guy who was in the past. If you were a driver for a year and then you take on let's say a role of account management, or you take on sales, you can't be the driver in sales. You just have to be the guy in sales. And then when you're in sales, or you're going to accounts, or accounts are going to sales, or going to assistant management, you can't be that person. You have to outgrow the person that you were before, because you're not going to be able to succeed doing what you did previously. It's impossible.
You actually just read my Facebook profile quote. That's exactly what it says. It says, Daniel Asher, Danny, just a man trying to be a better man than yesterday.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space. Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too.
Is that what I did? I read the quote. Is that what it is?
Yeah, straight up. Another thing you want to do is don't be shy about it. Tell someone, your team, but also tell someone outside of your circle that's not necessarily going to help you obtain your goal, but let them know, hey, just FYI, this is my goal. Maybe it's a friendly competition. Maybe you call another store up at the beginning of the year and you say, hey man, great job last year. I'm coming for you this year. Like, let them know. It's not cocky. It's not arrogant. It's putting it out there into the universe. It's putting it out there with words that, all right, I wrote down my goals. I broke it down. I have my steps. I know what I need to do. Now it's time to tell someone. I'm going to tell you, Pete, listen, man, I'm coming for you. My division is going to kick your division's ass this year. I got a plan. I got a goal. Just wait and see, buddy. You just wait and see.
Well, sometimes when you're doing these goals, remember that not all goals are the same, right? Sometimes you're going to enjoy completing a goal. Sometimes it's going to be harder for some goals than others. What you need to do sometimes is, so that you don't get goal fatigue, is to sprinkle them in different areas. Maybe you're more of a salesperson. Every once in a while, stick in a sales goal, and then stick in a credit goal, and then stick in maybe to learn P&Ls or something like that, and then stick one of your goals in there. Let your goals motivate you. I won't recommend doing all your happy goals first, the ones that you want to tackle, and then all the harder goals at the end, or all the harder goals in the beginning and all the types that you like at the end. Because what's going to happen is you're going to create that fatigue, or you're going to set yourself up for, I did all these goals and it was really great, and now I got to face all these hard things, and now I'm going to have 3 months where I'm really going to hate my goals. That doesn't motivate you. So one of the things that you can do is find out, if you make a list of 5, 10, 15, find the ones that really attract you and then spread those out. You want to be able to take it one on time, right? You take that one and yes, that's a win. All right, now I got to learn this. It's a little bit difficult for me. Okay, I got that done, but oh my God, I'm so ready to do marketing, or oh my God, I really want to get better at credit. Put those in an order where they're going to get you to where they're going to be. You don't want to complete something completely far-fetched that doesn't help you, but you also want to put it in a way that's going to help motivate you to get to the next day. You want to get to that next goal so that you're like, yes, I've done this, I completed this. Now it's time for me to move on to, yes, planning. Yes, leadership. Yes, reading that book. I've been putting this off because I just don't have the time. But now that I've made that time, I want to read that book that Danny's talking about, or I want to read Danny's bio so that I can learn how to be a better guy than I was yesterday. Those are the important things. Make sure that you enjoy, knocking those things out. Find the brighter side of the goal sometimes, because sometimes you hit those hard goals and then you're like, man, I'm going to put this one off today, or I'm not going to complete it. Find the brighter side of your goals. What is it going to help you? How is it going to better serve you to beat this thing, to learn this thing, to get past this thing, to understand this thing? And how is that going to affect you in the future? Sometimes you don't want to fix that flat tire. But man, do you know how hard it is to drive 1,000 miles on 3 tires? It's not easy. So you need to focus on where you're going and the destination and how that's going to benefit you more than the physical labor of getting that done. And when you get through that, when you see it that way, you'll say, you know what? This is the necessary evil. This is what I have to learn, because to be on the next step, I have to go through the mud, right? Anytime that you're in military, anytime that you go through something difficult, what do? They throw you in the mud. That's not where you're going to be. That's what you got to get through. And then when you're at your goal, when you become sergeant, you go higher. It's like, no, I went through that. And that sticks with you. I have completed this goal. This goal has been easier. I'm not good at credit. But I had to sit there for 3 months and I had to close my route. I had to learn that my open is just as big as my close. I had to make sure that my overs, my 15 pluses, are just as important as the 1 to 7s. It's just in a different way. And I had to learn it. Now that I know that, I'll never forget that. And now I'm going to take it to my next goal. That's my next step. So you guys have to really kind of look at what you're doing and put it in perspective, because that really, really helps.
A positive mindset produces positive results. A negative mindset produces negative results. Plain and simple. You're going to face obstacles. There are things, uncontrollable actions that are going to be against you from the start, the moment you write your goal down. You're going to have to learn to overcome them. It's kind of like what you're just saying, but don't be discouraged. Don't be negative about it. Endure it. Know it's a process you're going to have to go through, and in the end, it's going to be so well worth it. A beautiful butterfly doesn't become a butterfly without going through the 2 weeks of torture and pain of being in a cocoon, transforming into that beautiful butterfly. You're going to have to go through the uncomfortableness. And outside of that uncomfortableness is going to be something very beautiful at the end. I guarantee it. So stay positive. When you feel like, how's the saying go? When the tough gets going, the going gets tough. Continue moving forward. Don't give up. And you will overcome all the adversities. But it's a process you're going to have to go through.
Well, Danny wants to put you in a cocoon, so you better come out a butterfly. So that's what I kind of say about that. But then after you get everything down, you set up in a way, you're looking at them, you understand that sometimes you're going to have to go through something difficult. Then remember, put them somewhere you can see them. Danny's real big on vision boards, and let me tell you, I'm a little bit different.
Love 'em.
I do love vision boards, but I like posting things everywhere. I want it on my desk.
Post-its?
I want it in my car. I want it on my shifter. I want it in my bathroom. Now, everybody's different because, of course, if we were all the same, this world would just be unbelievably dull. So, one thing that we always say, and we say it to a lot of people, and we say it to everybody, Danny and I always have the same destination, but we definitely go there through different means, whether it's through the city or through the woods, to grandma's house we go. And when we go there, we take different approaches, we take different ways, we look at things differently, but it's always to the same goal. So if you're doing that, in my aspect, you might want to put little things everywhere. Those little reminders of where you sit and you're going, man, this is a day, and I got to look at that and go, yeah, no, this is for a reason. But one thing I wanted to tell you guys, because we run a podcast, right? And of course, you're sitting there listening, whether you're driving or whether you're at office. How about this? How about take a page out of Pete and Danny's book? Why don't you record yourself? Take a 30-second snippet of what it is that you want to do. Remember that this has got to be the height of your goal setting. And as you're writing things down, write in there, I want to do this because I want to grow my store. I want to train my staff. I want to be better. I want to be a district manager. I want to take over a store. I want to be successful, and this is the way I'm going to do it. Give yourself 30 seconds. And when you're having that day where it just sounds real hard, maybe your goal friend isn't available, play that stuff back to you. Play it back and just remember, in the tone and in the spirit that you were in at that moment, you got it recorded. Yeah, this is why I'm doing it. This is what I need. I got a vision board. I got my little snippets everywhere. I, in my own voice, am telling myself, dude, you can do it. Ma'am, you are there. Mr., Miss, Joe, Bob, Lisa, Cocoon, let's get this done.
Speaking of vision boards, for a fact it works, Pete. It works, okay? So back in the day when Pete was running the brand store, he had
Story time.
He had a very, very strong sales assistant, and I knew this kid since he was 16, so I know what motivates him, what drives him. He's a very competitive person, kind of like me. And one day I walk into the store. I don't say nothing to nobody. I just go straight to this big whiteboard behind everyone's desk, and I just start writing the store numbers and what their potential rental revs are. All the way down, all 20 locations. And I point to their store and I say, this is where you're at. This is where the next guy's at. This is where the next guy's at. This is where the next. And I think this was halfway through the year. It wasn't even in the beginning of the year. I want to say I did this like in summertime. And
it was summertime.
And y'all passed, like 5 or 6 stores in those 6 months.
We were pretty low on the list. I mean, it's not like we have a ton of stores, but we were pretty low on that list. And if there's anything that anybody can tell you, I'm not super up about what I want to do. I just have a goal in my head and I go to achieve it. Where Danny's a little bit different. Everybody kind of knows his goal. Well, I keep mine to myself. I'm a quiet guy when it comes to those certain things. I just like to work hard and get it done. And so Danny comes in, he puts this thing on that board, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. I'm not going to be. Oh, God, I don't remember where I was. We were pretty low at that time. Yeah. I mean, I think the summertime was one of our lowest numbers when our rental revs dropped. And Christian was his name. Christian was like, he was very, oh, no, we're going to beat that. And all of a sudden it came out. It came out into the open. It came out into the world. And that's why I said different people do different avenues. My way probably wasn't going to work for Christian because he is like you. And he needed to see it visually. I didn't need to see it. But once he put it out there and I could see the excitement that it brought on, it was on. I mean, I think in 6 months I think it was 5 or 6 stores that we passed in that 6-month span.
He got excited because every time you passed up a store, he would cross it off.
He didn't even ask me. He was just like, I'm taking this. I'm not this knocked off done. He was excited.
And even kind of like what you said, like it might not have been your cup of tea, but inadvertently, subconsciously, it did kind of affect you because you admitted like you hated seeing your store so low.
I hate seeing that.
So for you, it wasn't so much of passing other stores up. For you, it was just more of an internal thing because you've always been, hey, these are my 4 walls. That's what I care about, and that's fine. But seeing your store's rental rev so low, it did motivate you. Like, we got to increase that. Where Christian was, I got to pass these stores up. Either way, it motivated both of y'all to be successful. That I'm sticking to that story. That's how it went down.
That's his story, and he's sticking to it. Talking about stories and talking about success, don't forget to listen to our sponsor and maybe hit them up. They could possibly help you. So when we're talking about growing, and it's true, you have to remember that not everybody goes to the same goals as you, and you have to know what motivates your team and how do they get motivated. And it's not just more money or this or that. Sometimes it's what type of scenario motivates. Is it putting on the wall? Is it talking about it every day? Is it getting hyped up? Is it getting that morning coffee and taking 5 minutes and sitting them in front of the goal board and going, okay, how are we going to defeat this today? How are we going to defeat this week? Is it that planning? Everybody approaches it differently, and you have to be able to get into the people that you have around you, learn that when you talk about a store goal, of course you want to defeat it all yourself. Of course you want to go out there and beat an army with, that Call of Duty mentality, right? Doesn't work that way. You've got a team. And to create some of those steps, you'll do by yourself. Some of those steps you can do as a team. Some of those steps are your team alone. You have to get them to where they need to be so that you can build your goals on top of that solid foundation of 4 or 5 gals and guys who understand exactly where they're headed. And if you don't do that, it won't work. Christian was a good sign of that. Once he bought in, there was nothing that was going to... And truthfully, I did go through a couple of employees that year. I wasn't going to settle. But once we got a team on there that kind of understood everybody was on board, it took off. It literally took off from 1 month to the next. I couldn't stop it if I wanted to. It just started taking off, and everybody rides and enjoys in that success. But it was part of that goal setting process. And I will say, it was part of putting it on a vision board, setting it out there where somebody can see, and then knocking it off as we got along.
It's also important to make sure, kind of like what you just said, but You have to get your entire team bought in, but every individual on that team has to be aware of what the goal is, what the daily goal is, what the weekly goal is. This is a personal goal of mine, is that I want to get better this year at checking in on my stores and randomly asking employees, hey, what's the goal for the day? Sure, the store manager and the assistant probably know what it is, but does the driver know how many customers we want to open today? Does the driver know what the credit score needs to be at? Does the driver know how much deposit we need today?
Listen, for everybody who's not a GM, it's okay for you to go to your GM and ask them what their goals are for the day.
Exactly.
So, it's not just top down. If you're a driver, if you're an account manager, if you're a salesperson, and you don't see the goals up for today, don't be afraid to create some goals for yourself. Take them to your GM and say, hey, this is what I want to do today. Help me. Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right direction? You help me create the goals that are going to make me successful, and put them in the hot seat to take out the time to show you what it is you need to succeed.
And after it's all said and done, and I think this is probably one of the most important things. I'm a big believer of this. Pete, you used to not believe in this, but now you do, thank God, is you got to celebrate your wins. Your small wins, your big wins, you got to celebrate it. That's what helps motivate the team. I'm going to tell another story time. I'm putting Pete out on blast. I don't care.
Story time.
Because this boggled me. They're kicking ass. Listen, no. You guys are kicking ass. I think you got like second place of store of the month. So you didn't quite make it, but man, it was one hell of a month. So I come in, I'm excited, I'm pumped, I'm high-fiving everybody. I come to Pete and I go, hey man, you gonna get the guys lunch? Pete's response, for what? For what? For second place of store of the month, y'all kicked ass. They did their job. Nah, man, come on. He did get him lunch. He was a great manager, mind you. I'm not trying to paint him as a villain. He just is definitely a Gen X thing, and is definitely a generational thing, and that's what he was used to. Hey, you get paid to do a job. You did a job, great job. I'll give you a handshake. I'll give you a pat on the back. But to actually celebrate it, it's like, well, that's what we get paid to do. And you're right. It's true. We're all paid to perform, but you got to celebrate. Even teams celebrate. Look, we use sports analogies a lot. You're telling me NFL players don't celebrate their wins? Look at them on TV. They get paid millions of dollars to do a job, but every time they win a game, they all huddle, they high five, they dump the Gatorade on the coach, they go out and party, and I'm not saying go out and party in RTO land, but what I am saying is have a nice store lunch, give your employees a small little gift card. Pay for their lunch one week, whatever it takes. Celebrate the small wins and then celebrate the big wins. Get with your DMs and regional managers. And if you get 3 store of the months in a row, if you get store of the year, make it a huge thing. Take them out to a casino or to a Top Golf, which is our favorite outing to do. You got to celebrate the wins because that's what keeps the motivation going so you can hit every goal all the way through the end of the year.
All right. So, if we're going to say, yes, I have grown a little bit since those situations, but my always thing was if I missed my mark, I never celebrated. And I will tell you guys this, and this is the God honest truth. You do have to celebrate the wins because there was something that I didn't realize that I wasn't giving my guys, and that was the environment. My win was just one type of win. I wanted that one win and I wanted bad. And the truth was I didn't get my win. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to work harder this next month till I get my win. But that focus and drive, sometimes you have to remember that the people around you, you have to create an environment. You have to create the air. And the air around you has to be, I wasn't there, I was this close. But sometimes that's okay. Now, I'm not saying you enjoy mediocrity. What I'm saying is if you did better than you did the month before or the 2 months before that or the quarter before that, you do have to enjoy that win. You have to say, guys, we made it this far. We didn't make it to the top of the mountain, but we're damn sure close to it. And this year ain't over with. And go at it again. And so especially taking over a market now, it's been ingrained in me that I have to really do more for the guys to understand, man, not everybody's going to win. There's only one top spot, and there's a lot of spots underneath. Are they doing better? Are they doing better than they did? Did they really try? Are they really learning? Are they on the lower steps of their goals, but they're still trying to attain something? Or then they higher steps of their goals, and they're about to, just knock it out of the park. You've got to see a win for a win. Now, I will always tell you, in rent to own, for the old guys out there, we take that trophy, we enjoy it, and then we put it back on the shelf. We remember that tomorrow is another day, but you do have to enjoy it. When we're talking about goals and getting there and, and stair-stepping our goals, sometimes you also have to remember that I'm an old guy and I'm a little hard to change. But you also have to make sure that you can adjust your goals to things that change around you. Your goals doesn't have to change, but maybe how you get there. For instance, 2019 was a really good year for me. I was really working my butt off. We didn't have any COVID money out there. We didn't have anything going on. We had a team that was dedicated to making it happen. And then guess what happened? 2020 came and it changed the rent-to-own landscape, I think probably, if not for the next 5 years, for a long period of time. We are looking at things that we're still trying to go back. That wasn't right. That wasn't normal. That was COVID. That was this. That was that. Man, that changed a lot. Did it change your goals? No, but how you get there. Maybe you need to adjust how you get there. You can't be successful in the same way that you could by going up and shaking somebody's hand. Well, you know what happened? The advent of social media came through. The advent of online sales came through. And I think in rent-to-own, we probably do that more now than we've ever done. You want to know why? Probably because of COVID. And then we had to get better at that. We had to become better salespeople over the phone. We had to become better salespeople on email and text message. We had to get better at taking pictures. We had to get better at setting up our showroom so that we could take pictures and send it to people. Figure out that, man, these generations are a little bit different. They are going online. They are shopping on their telephone versus even going on a computer. And, it's funny because we always talk about that. I'm always a laptop type of guy. Danny's on his cell phone. We're just completely different people that way. But we have one goal in mind, that destination. That main goal is the same. How we get there is different. And so don't be afraid to adjust what you need to adjust to make sure that your goals are going to get you what you want. But sometimes things around you happen. Don't be afraid to adjust what you have left to make it fit to what you have available to you. Sometimes people think, I can't do this anymore. No, you can. You can always get there. Just adjust what you have around you, whether it's the people that you have, whether it's the store that you're in, whether you're driving 5 minutes now or 10 minutes or 20 minutes now because you're in a further store because COVID happens or it doesn't happen, or because you have a staff that's trained now versus a staff that isn't. All things can be done when you sit down, think about it, and make sure you talk to your goal coach and say, hey, goal coach that's helping me out, whether it's another store, whether it's Danny, whether it's the Cocoon, and you say, this is what's changed. Help me to remember that I don't want to just sit down and not celebrate my second place win. I want to win every day. Remind me of that. And when you do that, you can go so far. You got to create the air around you that helps celebrate those wins.
We'd love to hear from everybody what their goals are or how they set goals. If you want to share with us your goals or how you do set it, please email us. You can email me at danny@thertoshowpodcast.com, or you can email Pete at thertoshowpodcast.com. If you want to be a guest on our show, you can email us directly, or you can hit me up on Facebook and Instagram at The RTO Show. We are going to be doing a lot of interviews in this new season. We already have one. Stay tuned next week. And I think, Pete, you have some calendar dates for us?
Well, if you look about it, the end of this month is going to be amazing. We're actually going to be in the Las Vegas show this month, the end of the year. But January 14th also is the 2023 Premier National Convention. On the 29th of January starts the 2023 Winter of Las Vegas Market. Then February 25th is the Trib Group 2023 Meeting of the Minds Expo. That's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. On March 6th, we have the Rent One annual meeting. And then on March 25th, the Nationwide Primetime Education Expo. That's also coming from the rtohq.org website, the upcoming events. Just if you guys want to, you can click on the calendar there. We'll probably share some of those events on our website at www.thertoshowpodcast.com. Make sure that you guys are getting your shirts too, because listen, guys, when you go to one of those events, there is nothing wrong with wearing a shirt on your off time to show your love for the RTO show. What we want to do is make some more brand recognition. Listen, we want everybody to listen to the RTO show. We want everybody to suggest what's going on and maybe a topic or something they want to discuss. And like Danny said, be a guest, be our guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. And we want to have you guys a part of that. And then we might have actually been in a magazine. Is that right, Danny? We might actually be a little bit of a, something?
If you haven't already, go to the April website and you can subscribe to receive the RTO HQ magazine. It's a quarterly magazine every season, and I believe we are in the winter edition. It was from our Indiana trip last year in, was it August, September, how to manage in a post-pandemic. There was also a big shout out to Chris Kale Sr. Shout out Mr. Kale for winning
the Lifetime Achievement
Award. Correct. And so, you got some ranking representatives in there, but I think from what I've read, they did a great job of breaking down our presentation into steps and to help motivate and inspire managers to be better managers. So give it a read. Let me know. I'd love to hear any kind of constructive criticism or any input, positive inputs. And again, feel free to reach out to us if you want to be a guest. We are taking applications now for this season.
Also, don't forget, if you want to sponsor the RTO show, hit us up again. That's Pete at the RTOshowpodcast.com or Danny at the RTOshowpodcast.com. We love to talk to our sponsors. Listen, this is something that we have to put on ourselves. If you guys want to help us out with that, be a sponsor. We love to have you guys on the show. If we have any vendors that want to go on a show, and it doesn't have to be a vendor that just does everyday thing. As a matter of fact, we're going to be meeting with a lot of people in the next couple of months that do RTO in one way or another, whether it's skip trace, whether it's going to advertising and doing it the right way, whether it's new vendors coming up with new products. There's a lot of different things going out there. Be part of the RTO show. Hit us up. You can be a sponsor. We'll put you on, and we'll get you to a different audience. Audiences that love RTO and the RTO show, because we're, Danny and I are really likable.
With that being said, guys, this is the RTO show with Danny and Pete.